Once again, we have two candidates here. Please give a warm welcome to current Clark County chairperson of the Clark County Republican Party, Cindy Lake. And the man who's challenging her to become the new chairman of the Clark County Republican Party, Dave McKeon. This because I'm right in the middle, as you can see. But the two people who are going to be asking questions are grand inquisitors, are from Citizen Outreach, Chuck Booth and Dan Burnish. So you can't hear me, this is great. So without further ado, I do want to thank the Bahama Breeze for hosting us tonight. A big hand for Bahama Breeze, please. It's a great venue, isn't it? A great place to get together. Yes.
Okay, there's some people with the placards around here. We don't care if you have the placards, but when you put them up, you're blocking the people behind you. So if you're going to do it, please put them up and then take them down, put them up, take them down, so that the people behind you can see. Is that okay? Unless you guys behind you don't want to see. Just up and down, just so the people behind you can see every once in a while.
All right, we're about to begin. Dave, you can't be greeting people if you want to debate. Maybe he doesn't want to. I'm not sure. All right, let me have Chuck. Hold on a second. We can't continue with this because the mic really goes so loud. I'm going to have Chuck Booth ask the first question. Chuck?
Thank you, Alan. Big hand for Alan Stock, KDWN. Cindy, David, great to have you here. As a former Clark County Republican Party chairman, long before most everyone here probably was here, 1995, been in your position that you were seeking, my first question is, why in the hell would you want this thankless job in the first place?
Thank you. Well, originally I did not aspire to this position. The way that I obtained this position was that the previous leadership who held this position resigned. And so I stepped up to the plate. And being involved for 6 years in the Clark County Republican Party, I knew what needed to be fixed. And so I ran for chairman to continue the term of the previous leader who had resigned. And so here I am today. I'm making headway, I'm making strides. We no longer have factions. I don't feel we have factions anymore. We're united in many, many ways. And so I want to continue with what I've been doing. I feel I've been doing a wonderful job. And I will continue to do a wonderful job. And I want to further the conservative principles that brought me here in the first place within the Clark County Republican Party. That's why I want the job. There's no money attached to the job. There's no pay attached to the job. I made less money last year than I made in 18 years. So I'm doing this for the love of my state and my country and for my children and for everything that brought me here in the first place. I intend to represent each and every one of you, each and every one of your conservative principles and values. And I listen, I hear every single one of you, and I appreciate everything that you've done. And that's why I want to be chairman of the Clark County Republican Party.
Thank you. Who's going to feed into that?
Turn that down.
Hey, thank you all for being here tonight. This is a great turnout, Chuck. Thanks for putting this together. Everybody give a big hand to Chuck. Before I talk about why I wanted to run for this position, thank you, Cindy, for the opportunity as well. A lot of people want to know who we are, what our opinions are, what our differences are. So this night is your opportunity to find out what you think is the right direction for the party. So thank you for agreeing to participate in this today. I appreciate it. Big round of hand for our chairman. I want you all to meet my wife, Crystal. This is my sweetheart. I produced a concert at Planet Hollywood, and this is where I met my wife, Crystal. She was in charge of the theater. We did a huge concert. It was filmed here and broadcast over in China for the Beijing Olympics. And during the process, I fell in love with Crystal. So after the show, I asked her if she'd like to go out, and she said no. So I am here in Nevada because I came here for love. I just want to introduce you all to my wife, Crystal. Thank you. I'm running for chairman of the Clark County Republican Party so we can start winning elections and taking charge of the state of Nevada. That's why I'm running. A lot of you may know my father. He is a congressman, and I take great pride in his work for our country. And he has served as the chairman of the Education and Labor Workforce Committee, and he currently serves as the chairman of the Armed Services Committee. He asked me why I was doing this. Where's Chuck? Where'd you go, Chuck? Where's Chuck? Hey, there you go, at the bar. There you go, good place, water and gold. I saw firsthand how thankless it is to be in a position where you serve the community. A lot of people come up and let you know the negative. Very rarely do they say thank you on the positive. So when somebody like Cindy takes the position, she's going to take a brunt of all the problems. And so to that, we got to give her a hand because she's taking it, and you guys got to give her a hand of applause because a lot of people won't do it, and she did it. I want you tonight to understand what my vision is for Clark County and where I want to take us as a Republican Party. Unified, winning, and taking control of our state. And I believe that if Clark County is successful, the entire state will begin to turn around. This is where it's at, right here. Thank you. Chuck, next question?
All right, next question will come from Dan Burdish.
Make the old man get up. While Chuck was the chairman of the Clark County Republican Party, right before he was chair, I was treasurer of the Clark County Republican Party, so I come from a little bit different perspective. He was also an ED for the state party for, what, 2 days, Chuck? I'm kidding. He was an ED for the state party. I was executive director for the state party after him. So I come a little bit different position, and my position is money. To have an effective party, we have to raise funds. Cindy, what have you done over the past 6 months you've been in? 8 months? 8, 9 months? What have you done to raise money? What would you do in the future to try to increase that? And Dave, if you're elected, what will you do to raise funds for the county party?
Okay, so I'm going to stand up. It's just like I'm sitting, but I'm standing now. Okay, what have I done? Well, since I've only been in the position around 10 months, it started out where we had to pay a very large bill from the previous leadership that was left to us, and that bill was to pay for the last year's Lincoln Day dinner. That Lincoln Day dinner was budgeted for $63,000. We had to pay $83,000. We were invoiced the day our previous leadership left for $83,000 for a budgeted dinner of $63,000. I actually got $20,000 written off that invoice, and then I proceeded to ask the hotel casino that hosted the dinner whether they would consider donating the $63,000 to the candidates who were running for local office. They turned us down. So the day I took over, May 25th, 2012, we had to pay $63,000 to the Venetian Hotel and Casino. Not only did we receive an invoice, but our resources, in the form of human resources, left. Our furniture was taken away. We had no furniture. We received a letter from an attorney. We were sued. We were being sued. All that time, we spent $11,000 in SD9 to help Mary St. Martin and the candidates in AD9, even though we had to pay the $63,000 bill and we had no resources, we had no volunteers, we still hired an outside company. We spent $11,000 to try to affect that race, to try to give us a win in that district. And what we did is we registered 1,300 conservatives in October of 2012. We spent $11,000 and we actually raised $4,000 towards that, so a net of $7,000 to register 1,300 conservatives. So not only have I been credited with registering Chuck Muth, but I think I can assume that I can take the credit for registering 1,300 conservatives. Mary St. Martin lost that race by 300 votes. 300 small votes. I feel that if we had our volunteers still with us, and that if Team Nevada hadn't split our resources and taken our office manager and taken our volunteers and we didn't have to pay a $63,000 bill, we would have been even more successful. And that's what I intend to do, is to be more successful. But as far as raising money, we're raising money every single Central Committee meeting. We're having a raffle now. We raised $4,000 last Central Committee meeting. We're establishing relationships with the small business owners and conservative business owners, building partnerships with business owners so they can have a buy-in here with the Clark County Republican Party, and they can get a benefit and we can get a benefit, and we're all mutually benefiting. But I'm raising money. It's a fallacy that I'm not raising money. I've been raising money. I'm spending less money, and I'm raising money. So, and that's what I'll continue to do. Thank you.
The question is, how am I as chairman going to raise money? The solution is simple. First, you got to restore credibility. People are not going to invest in a party if they don't see that they're going to get a return on their investment. People need to understand that there's a plan to getting people elected. They're not going to give money because you got problems. They give you money because you got solutions. And that is why every single one of you that took the form will see what my plan is to restore credibility to our party, so that people that want to write checks feel that there's actually something going to be done with their money, instead of just trying to pay for legal problems or pay for whatever. The reality is, if you look at on those flyers I have in there, I have a plan for fundraising. And it's simple. You set up a finance committee and you staff it with folks who have the commitment of every month calling at least 4 people with the goal of raising at least $1,000. Now that finance committee can be 10, 15, 20, 30 people. It can be as many as we want it to be. But their specific job is to raise at least $1,000 every month. And my job as chairman is to have a minimum goal of raising at least $5,000 every month for the party. Now, I can tell you this much. I have already had people ask me if I'm taking contributions. I've said no. What I want is your vote. Once I get your vote, yes, I will then ask you for money. You cannot get money unless you ask people for their money. And they're not going to give you the money if you don't show them how it's going to be used. And the bottom line is, you need to have a plan, you need to sell the plan, and they need to see that's actually getting implemented. And that's what I'm doing, and that's what you're all witnessing. That is how I'm going to raise money. Brett, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for being here.
All right. Next question from Chuck Muth.
Dave, can I have 50 bucks?
No.
Doesn't hurt to ask. Specific.
I'll give you 100 for the Silver State Company.
100 for Silver State Confidential, I'll take it. specifically with Senator Michael Roberson in mind. It is my contention that it's not enough to simply elect more Republicans, that we need to elect better Republicans. And with that in mind, ever since I was chairman way back in the dark ages of 1995, I have been advocating for the party to start to get actively involved and provide leadership by endorsing in primaries. Would you please tell us if you, A, support the idea of pre-primary endorsements, and if so, if you have a plan on how those would be carried out so that the rules are fair for everyone?
Okay, pre-primary endorsements. This is contentious, isn't it? How many of you like the idea of pre-primary endorsements? Not that many of you. Well, this is something that our e-board just tackled a couple of weeks ago. And they voted to take this to the Central Committee in the form of a bylaws change. I actually like the idea of pre-primary endorsements, but it's not something that I'm going to spend much time on. Chuck, I think we would have endorsed Michael Roberson in 2010. Don't you think so? He had the right lines. He said the right things. He signed the tax pledge. So we would have endorsed Michael Roberson. The only difference is we probably wouldn't be supporting him in his re-election effort if we had pre-primary endorsements. So we have a plan for this, people. But I've heard you tell us that you don't want to do any more bylaws changes at the meetings. You hate the bylaws changes. So I took it off the agenda for the last meeting. We had a lot of new people. It was a very crowded meeting, and I didn't want to burden you guys with the subject of pre-primary endorsements. It's something that will go out. The plan will go out. It's something we're going to handle at the convention level like Utah does. We're going to have a vetting process, and I think what's going to happen is we're all going to be able, well, what will happen if we go for if we actually pass this, we will be able to support and endorse the best, most conservative candidates. And if our candidates don't uphold the promises that they make, then we're not going to support or endorse them when they run for re-election. So anyway, we're going to handle this. We're going to tackle this. The e-board has already handled it. We have a great plan. We're going to send that out in the form of an email and give you enough time to look it over. I do support and endorse the idea, but of course I will concede to however it comes out in the wash. I'm not going to spend much time on it. I do think that we need to do other things, mainly make sure that we have a clear message, make sure that we're recruiting the best candidates and more and better conservative candidates. Anybody can be a Republican. All they have to do is register Republican, and we have no way of knowing who's a true conservative and who isn't, and our resources are unable to put resources to candidates in the primary. We need to be able to back the best candidates so we get the better candidates in the general. That's my answer. Thank
you. Y'all are here because you want to see a fight. It's the Bahama Breeze Brawl, right? It's a brawl. It's about competition. The primaries are about competition, and the best rises to the top, and that's why you do not do pre-primary endorsements. You let people fight it out, so you find out for yourself who's going to be the better candidate. It's that simple. Then when they win, we know they're the ones that are going to fight the hardest. And that's when we put our money behind them. That's when we put our brand behind them. And that's when we get behind them. Up until that time, they got to prove themselves. I am proving myself. I'm going out. I'm meeting with different groups in the community. Right here we got the Two Guys show. These guys are broadcasting to the Philippines. All right? The Filipino community in Clark County, Nevada, Clark County, is 5% of the electorate. What are we doing to reach out to them? The Hispanic community, they just passed the driver's privilege card. We were there talking about it. Where have been the Republicans in engaging the community? If we just keep talking to ourselves, we're going to keep getting the same results. A guy or a gal that's going to run for an office, they better know that they're out there hustling on their own, because the primaries got to be won by themselves. Now, I don't think that we shouldn't not help them. I think the office should be there, so if they want to use the phones, they can take and use the phones, or if they want some advice, then we provide that support. But that's to all of them. We don't choose winners or losers. But we say, here's the resources, here's the expertise, here are volunteers, take advantage of it and use it. And let's find out who really is going to fight for us. That's what we'll know. Thank you.
We're not taking questions. We're not taking questions from the floor. We're not. Dan Burdish next with the question.
All right, we just had a general election in the municipalities here in Clark County. We also had a primary election. We took a very bad loss in Las Vegas 6, where Suzette LaGrange Miranda had a great chance to win a Las Vegas City Council seat. She won 43% of the vote in a primary. 47% of the people who showed up were Republicans. Cindy, I don't know if you guys got involved in that. If you didn't, I'd like to know why. And I'd like, at state ED, I thought that the parties, the county parties, should handle all county races, and the state party should handle state races. How do you feel about that? If you did not get involved in Suzette's campaign, why did you not? How would you do that different in the future? And how would you handle that, Dave, under your leadership?
We did get involved with Suzette's campaign, and you're absolutely right. The county party is and should be involved in all the local races, and we are. And we actually sent a mailer out for Suzette. I don't know if you're aware of that. I think 6,000 pieces went out for Suzette LaGrange, and we had many volunteers working for Suzette LaGrange. But from what I understand, Suzette LaGrange's campaign was operating out of the state party. Is that right? Oh, okay. Well, Suzette's campaign was operating out of the state party. They were able to give her more resources, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, we did help Suzette. We did a robocall for Suzette, I believe, and a direct mail piece for Suzette. And we helped her as much as we could possibly help her. Again, her campaign was operating at a state headquarters. So what we do differently, we would have her come to the county party headquarters. But what is it? Oh, she wasn't? Okay, do you know where she was operating at? Oh, okay. Because from what I understood, the state party
Why wouldn't you know that?
I'm not aware, actually. But anyway, we did just help Mark Stevens in Henderson get elected. We had volunteers working for Mark, and we sent out a robocall to 9,000 Henderson voters for Mark Stevens. And I wanted to say thank you to Dave, because I understand you did something in the area of 1,300 phone calls. And I know that because one of my friends got a phone call who was in North Las Vegas. So I would say, I thank you for your hard work, but we need to target these races. We need to use the data that we have available to us, and we're happy to help all of our candidates. And we have been helping, and Mark Stevens won by a landslide. And again, the Clark County Republican Party sent out 9,000 highly targeted robocalls for Mark Stevens. So that's what we're doing.
For Suzette LaGrange, I stood up in front of the CCRP meeting in January and told everybody that they showed up, they made phone calls, they'd get paid $10 an hour. Chris Dyer was there, he was one of them supporting her. About 12 people showed up and made over 800 phone calls for Suzette LaGrange. I and myself and some others actually went out and canvassed the neighborhood, knocking on doors, and got people registered for Suzette LaGrange's election. On my own dime did I do that, okay? I can send out phone calls, I can send out mailers, but people want to see people face to face. And the hard work is knocking on the doors, because people want to know, why do you support Suzette? And I got to be able to tell them why I support her. They want to have that personal connection. We got to do more of that. As far as Judge Stevens goes, I did organize 1,300 calls for him, but it was only because I wasn't able to get access to the database from the county party when I asked for it, so I can market to the people for my election. So what we were doing is we were reaching out to everybody, Republicans in North Las Vegas, Henderson, wherever, and saying, we know you can't vote for this guy, but you can volunteer. Come on over, show up, hold up a sign, make some phone calls, get involved. It's about getting everybody. If there's not a race in North Las Vegas and there's a race in Henderson, the party in North Las Vegas should be helping the races in Henderson. If the people in Henderson can help Boulder City, it's not about where you're at, it's about where you're going. And we need to start going together and start helping candidates win. You know, 2014 is quickly approaching. I have, on my little tablet here, there are 153 seats up for election next year. 52 are judges. What are we doing? Do we even know that there's that many races going on? Okay, folks, 2014 is a tidal wave of opportunities. Tidal wave. And if we don't start getting in front of it, it's going to roll right over us. I'm telling you, I got the plan. I just need you to show up. I'm working it. You need to show up. I'm doing it. You need to do it with me. No more. You want to know the plan?
Show up. Show up. You gotta show up first.
Everybody got this red sheet? Take it out and take a look. On the side, on the top it says plan to win the majorities. Right there where it says recruit and train. Now these are bullet points, we made it simple, but right there it shows you what the plan is. You can also go to my website at davefornevada.com and click on Dave's CCRP plan, and you can see more details there as well. There is a plan, I've been using it, it's been effective. Judge Stevens won by more than 3,000 votes. And that night when I was there, he thanked me personally, because he knew I was involved in helping him. That's what we got to be doing as a party. Every single race that we think we can win or close enough to win, we need to start getting out there and winning them.
All right, to make this fair, Cindy has said that she's got a little bit of a problem with something that Dave said. So I'm going to let Cindy do a rebuttal, and then Dave, if she says something that you have a problem with, let either Chuck or I know, and we'll let you do a rebuttal. How's that, okay?
Thank you, Dan. I just want to let you guys know that Dave never came to me for any data, because I would have gladly given him data, all the data that we have available. That's for everybody to use to help candidates. We don't hoard data. There's no reason that I wouldn't have given you data. Is there somebody in particular you asked for data? Dave? Because it wasn't me. No, I'm not done yet. I'm playing by the rules and I'm playing fair here, people, because that's how I do things. I don't lie, I don't cheat, and I don't steal. The bylaws were changed to take power away from the chairman, and the chairman is no longer a tyrant. The chairman is a team player. And I worked really hard for Mark Stevens. I wanted Mark Stevens to win, and I thanked you for your help. And nobody hoarded data or didn't give you data, Dave.
They took power away from you because you weren't getting anything done and they were trying to accomplish something. That's your board. Your board stripped you of your powers. This is what happened. I went to the CCRP meeting. I called Jordan Ross. I called Jordan Ross and I said, Jordan, I want access to this list. He said I couldn't have it. There was a bylaws change. Then I went before the board and I asked for the list, and I was told by the secretary that I could not have it. And the reason wasn't because of the bylaw change. It's because it was a bad form. Bad form. Bad form. Chris Eddy got the list, and you actually voted that night to see if David could get the list or not. And y'all voted no. I couldn't get the list. That's exactly what happened, folks. That's exactly what happened, folks.
Okay, we're going to continue on. We're going to continue on. You have to keep it down. You have to keep it down. You have to keep it down if you're going to hear. Mic only goes so loud, only so loud. Next question will come from Chuck Booth.
I'm going to invoke executive privilege here. I've always hated debates where the candidates weren't allowed to engage with each other. So they're not finished with this question, so we're not finished with this question. Cindy?
Thank you, Chuck. I believe the minutes will reflect the minutes of the e-board that Dave came to, the second e-board that Dave came to. Let me just tell you about the first e-board that Dave came to when you visited our e-board. We were protested outside that evening by some illegal immigrants with cameras. We have the minutes. We were protested outside by illegal immigrants the first night Dave visited us at the e-board. And those protesters were trying to show that the Clark County Republican Party was hostile to Hispanic people. Well, Dave obviously doesn't know us very well because we have 6 Hispanic people on our e-board. We invited them in. Our e-board spoke Spanish to them, and Dave left in a huff because it didn't go his way. The second time he came to the e-board, the minutes will reflect that, will they not, Secretary? Madam Secretary? Thank you. The second time Dave visited us at the e-board, he asked for our email database. Chuck, you are aware of that. He asked us for our email database for his campaign to email to our membership for his own campaign. That's what Dave asked for. And he was told that we'd be happy to email out on his behalf. We don't give away your private information to a candidate. Dave is telling you a half-truth, and that's what you can expect from Dave. I'm telling you the truth. That's what you will expect from me. I'm telling you the truth. He came to us for data, and he did not get it, and he still emailed me the next day. So he got data from somewhere, because he emailed me with his campaign information the next day. Take it away.
So she said I didn't ask for it, but then she just said that I did ask for it. She was for it before she was against it. The same way, same way. Listen, folks.
You did ask for it. They didn't give it to you.
It's
Yes, for our email.
La verdad es que anoche cuando los hombres estaban allá contestando contigo, yo estaba allá hablando con la gente afuera. I was talking to the people in Spanish outside. I didn't run away. I was talking to them. I didn't bring them. Oh, I brought the... Folks, you are now witnessing a meltdown. That did not happen.
This isn't golf. This is a real debate, huh? When I said it's going to be a brawl, I meant it was going to be a brawl. I love the fighting spirit. This is great. Okay, now let's go to another subject. And this one's very, very near and dear to me. Republicans generally suck when it comes to dealing with the press. They whine about the liberal mainstream media. Ronald Reagan never whined. He engaged the media, even though he knew they were against him, or he went around the media. How, as chairman, will you engage with the media, if you will engage with the media, and how do you intend to use the media to the Republican Party's advantage so our side of the story starts to get told? Who goes first again?
See that guy right there behind the camera? That's Adam Courier. He's filming this so that I can put this on the website so the folks that aren't here are able to see it. Let me step back as to how I've been engaging the media. The first thing I did is I went I got a phone call from Channel 3, NBC, and they said, would you like to come on the program? I said, I'd love to come on the program. I accepted the offer. When I got there, they said Carl Bunce wanted to debate me, but they didn't give him the opportunity. But you asked for the opportunity, right, Carl? You did not. Oh, so they lied too. Okay, so everybody's lying. So they said they invited Cindy, but she turned them down multiple times. They only asked me one time when I was there, and they sure enough said, we'd like to have her back. So hopefully we can go on TV together to debate them on TV. I would like that opportunity. The second thing is, I went to the Hispanic radio stations in Espanol, began communicating to the Latin community about my goals for the Hispanic community. I cut radio ads, put them in Spanish. Adriana, she's right here. She was part of the ad. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. To expand in the media, I put on an event at Linda Con. We had about, I don't know how many people, 70? About 70 people there, and we had people from the Hispanic papers there doing interviews so I could communicate to them where I stand on the issue so that they can see that we as Republicans do support the Hispanic community. We want to solve the problems. We want to be engaged in the community. And I got right here a live example of what I'm doing, engaging the media. I got two guys show. I personally asked them to be here. They're broadcasting to the Filipino community in here locally. I'm doing everything I can to let people know what the Republicans stand for and how we're going to start winning elections here in 2014. We can sit and talk amongst ourselves all we want, but that's like preaching to the choir. Get everybody riled up, so what? You got to meet new people, get new voters, get them excited about the party, energize the base, get people to come to the party because they see the party is exciting and it's fun and it's doing things. And people don't know that unless we engage the media. We got to use all the social mediums that are available to us. It's cheap. We can do that. I wanted to have a talk with the ladies out in Boulder City, but I wasn't able to meet them because I had an opportunity with the Republican Club at Charlie's Lakeside. So I got on the phone with Sue Smith and I said, Sue, let's get on Skype. So while I was at the Charlie's Lakeside giving my speech, I then went aside and then was able to talk to the ladies via Skype out there in Boulder City. You know, we can communicate with a lot more people if we take advantage of the technology that's before us. And a lot of these groups that are in these outer parts, they would love to participate in the CCRP meetings if we just give them the technological tools to participate. It's much easier for people to go to their local chapter, be part of the events from a Skype feed, and then be able to go home than try and drive 4 or how many hours it takes to get here for a 4-hour meeting that they feel they're not getting anything out of it. And then they got to get back home to open up their businesses at 7 or 8 in the morning. It's just not right. We can be improving what we do, how we communicate, engaging the media, using technology, and I'm doing it right now, folks. I'm doing it right now.
Okay. I was gonna retract. Well, I think I should. Dave, the day that you went on Elizabeth Crum's show, The Agenda, Elizabeth Crum happened to say that she invited me onto the agenda to be on the show with you. Did you know that Elizabeth Crum offered a retraction the next day after that because she never asked me to be on the show with you? She said she did, but she didn't. No email, no phone call, nothing. Carl Bunz heard about that, and he happened to be at the station because Carl Bunz is one of the community voices at Channel 3. How many people have seen Carl in the media on Channel 3 umpteen times? He's excellent. He offers a conservative voice on Channel 3. We're engaging the media. I've been on John Ralston's show 3 times. I've been on Ellen Stock's show, thank you. I've been on several other shows and radio shows and television shows, and I continue to get asked back, even by John Ralston, who many conservatives avoid. We have a very good relationship. So I'm engaging the media. I use social media. We use Twitter. When I took over, we finally got a Twitter account. We upgraded our website. We're doing everything we can media-wise. We're even working with other internet radio shows. I'm on internet radio at least once a week, if not 2 or 3 times a week. We're using alternative media as well as mainstream media. But we're using alternative media because more and more people are turning off mainstream media. They're not listening. They're not listening to propaganda. We're going with alternative media because that's where the audience is. And we have a message, and we have a brand, and that's who we're putting our message out to.
All right, let me make an offer right now. You know that, hold on a minute. You know that when these scandals broke with the administration, it was Fox News Channel and Talk Radio that broke it, right? You know that? Do you understand that? Nobody else was talking about it. Mainstream media was not talking about it. Right now, I want to ask you a quick question. Would you like to see me invite these two people on my morning show to debate? The invitation is there for the two of you to come on my show and debate in the morning. All right? Dan Burnish.
Willie wants a date so she can listen to it. Chuck and I disagree on a bunch of stuff. One of them is voter registration. I'm a big advocate of voter registration. Chuck thinks it does not matter that much, or as much as GOTV or Get Out the Vote is. Republicans tend on a presidential year to show up at 3 to 5 points higher than Democrats do on a non-presidential year, 5 to 8 points. And that's whether we're out registering voters or not. So if we register voters, they'll show up. So since May of 2 years ago, 2011, to May of this year, Republican voter registration has gone down 2.5 points, actually 2.6 something points. That's way before you. That's during you. So you've only been in about a year. That's part you, part the previous. So this has nothing to do with you. What have you done on voter registration, and what would you do from today forward?
Well, again, we registered 1,300 targeted voters in SD9 only in October 2012. And Dan, isn't it true that they reconfigure or they get rid of inactive voters after the general election? Because I noticed that the rolls are changed and they drop inactive voters from the rolls if they don't vote in a couple of elections. So I can't take credit for that. I don't know for sure.
All right, when I'm talking about it goes down 2.5%, that's active to active, so it's total. So it has nothing to do, if you get rid of the 30 or 40,000, percentages will stay the same.
And I do think that is a problem with our messaging. It is a problem with our messaging, but I'm of the same mind as Chuck, and I believe GOTV is way more important than registering, and in the words of our Grand Inquisitor, Chuck, we'd have to spend another 1,600 months to register voters at the rate of 100 a month to even catch up to the Democrats. We need to do a better job of messaging. They will come, they will register, but then we have to get out there and we have to talk to them and we have to get their data and we have to give them a good message and we have to give them better candidates. We have to get better candidates for them to support and go to the polls to elect.
When I moved here in 2009, Republican voter registration increased by 22%. There was an influx of voter registration. I have found great success in going into, no, it's because I moved here. I have found great success in going to the minority communities, Filipino, Hispanic, Asian, and talking to them about why they registered Republican or Democrat. And it's interesting because a lot of them said, I just registered a certain way because my friends are registered that way. And what I found is that it's not that they understand the difference between Republican or Democrat, it's just because they have friends in those neighborhoods. And we just don't have a presence. So I have taken my initiative of going into the different communities and introducing myself. My name is David McKeon. I am a Republican. I'm running for chairman of the Clark County Republican Party. And I'm not here to tell you what you should be doing. I'm here to listen to what you think we should be doing. Because I want to understand what you think the problems are. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And that's the bottom line. And when I've gone into the Filipino communities, Democrats have registered Republican. When I've gone to Hispanic communities, Hispanics that were Democrats have registered Republican. Miguel Barrientos, who's one of the biggest Hispanic community leaders, registered Republican that night at Linda Michoacan to show everybody his commitment to the Republican Party. We can sit there and try and focus on each individual person, or we can go find the leaders in the different communities and persuade them, and it is their leadership and their direction of where they're going that the community will follow. And if they support our vision, that change will happen really fast. So that 1,600 number, I don't look at problems, I look for solutions. And once I define the problem, I find the quickest solution, because as a leader, you have to solve problems quickly. And we can blame other people, but I don't do that. I find the problem, I solve it. And if it's someone else's mistake, I don't care. Take responsibility and get it done. So if we really want to be successful, like Sharky, the other day when we were over there at the community center, there was like 5 Republicans there, right? And 6? 4? 4. You know, I'm like, how can they possibly want to listen to us if we're not even there? I mean, it's that simple, folks. And además, porque hablo español, I can communicate to them. And I can communicate what our message is. The value proposition to a donor is the same as the value proposition to a voter. The voters want to know what they're getting out of the party. The donors want to know what they're getting out of the party. It goes hand in hand. People won't join the party if they think the party lacks leadership, and donors won't give money to the party if they see there's no leadership. You can't go into a leadership position thinking, I'm going to blame somebody else. We've had 6 or 5 years of Barack Obama doing that. That's got to end. If you want to start solving these problems, you can't say what you want to do, you got to show what you're doing. Everything that I'm doing is showing you what I will do for the party as chairman. So when you vote for me, it's not a vote for a promise. It's a vote for a continuation and an expansion of what I'm doing right now for the Clark County Republican Party. That's why I'm running. You will see what's going to happen because you already see it being done. That's the difference. That's how I'm going to make voter registration grow. By leading by example. Getting out there, getting to know the folks, building their trust, and working with them to solve the problems. You know, I want to tell you about this event yesterday, the voter registration, the driver's privilege card. Reuben Kewen and Mo Dennis, they got up there and said, you know what, folks, there are a lot of rumors about this bill. And they said, we're here today to educate you about the merit of this bill. And it's amazing because they are going on a tour of promoting their success. And they're educating people what's in it and what's not in it. We don't do that. We sit back and just think, okay, we did it, on to the next thing. No, we have to promote our successes. We have to promote, we need to know where we're doing wrong, accept that, and then work on solving it. We got to start solving problems. And that's what I'm showing you, is I am a problem solver. And that's how we're getting voter registration done.
All right. Here's what we're going to do. We have one more question coming, and then we're going to have closing statements from each one of the candidates. Chuck Booth, closing question.
First of all, Dave, Cindy, from personal experience, let me tell you, the best kind of chairman to be is an ex-chairman. And if you don't believe me, allow me to recognize with us tonight another former ex-chairman, former state party chairman, Amy Tarkanian. Amy, am I right or am I right? God bless you for your service. Thank you, Amy. Okay, final question. I'm sure both of you know, and most people know in this room, I'm a big believer in the taxpayer protection pledge. I believe that Republicans were not put on this earth to raise taxes. That's why God invented Democrats. So here's my question. The Republican Party platform specifically says that Republicans are not supposed to raise taxes. What is your position on a Republican elected official who raises taxes? Is it my Republican right or wrong, or is it the party's responsibility to effect some sort of discipline among its elected Republicans as far as gross violations of the party pledge? I'm sorry, see, I am fixated on the pledge, the party platform.
Thank you, Chuck. I'm really glad you brought that up. You know, we had Grover Norquist speak at our Lincoln Reagan dinner. I, as the Clark County Republican Party chairwoman, cannot support a Republican who breaks their pledge to us and raises taxes. I will not support, I will not endorse, I will not compromise my principles. I will never support any Republican who breaks their promise and raises taxes. They take a pledge, they break their pledge. They have to earn our vote. Who are we if we support a letter and not a principle? We don't support the letter I, we support the principles behind it. That's why we're here. I will not support, I will not endorse, I will not compromise, and any Republican that breaks their promise will look forward to a primary if we can possibly do that.
That way you support them,
Governor Sandoval said he's going to veto that gun rights background check, right? Right? So if he vetoes that, but he does tax raises, are you going to support him? You see, folks, I don't believe in absolutes, okay? But here's my solution to the problem. People have signed the pledge and broken the pledge. When you vote for a public official, what are you giving that official? What are you giving him or her? Trust. You're giving them trust. Because they say, this is what I'm going to do. Standing here today, I'm not promising you anything. I'm showing you what I'm doing. So when you vote for me, that's what's going to happen. You need to shut your mouth and let me speak. The first thing, folks, if you want to grow this party, you need to start showing some respect. It doesn't matter how many people sign a tax pledge if they think that our party acts this way. So when you think about who you're supporting, it's not what they're signing, it's what they're doing. And here's my solution to the problem. I understand the idea and I appreciate the value of it. But the people that run for these positions, they want to have influence. And if they become chairman of the committees, they have great influence. And what I would like to see happen is that we elect people to these positions and we show them that we as a party have the power to get them elected. Because if we can show them that, we have the power to get them unelected. And that is how you keep control of the candidates. That's my solution. Now, if they go there with the promise and they break it, what do they care? What do they care? But if we are organized and unified and we show that we can take that individual and make them a leader for us in the legislature, and they don't follow through, then we, in the next time, show them how we're going to replace them. That's how we do it. Thank you. All right.
This is nothing against Cindy or for Dave or against Dave or for Cindy. There is not one Republican, not one, in our legislature, Senate or Assembly that did not vote at least once to raise taxes. So what the people are saying, that it's our way or the highway, they want to get rid of every single elected Republican official on a state, either state assembly, state senate, or the governor. And I'm sorry, it doesn't work. Okay, let's check this out.
You there? I didn't plan on debating Dan Burgess tonight, but I will if I have to. There's a difference between voting haven't signed the tax pledge. And doing what Michael Roberson did, which was not only supporting a $1.2 billion extension of temporary tax hikes, as well as proposing $600 million tax hike and targeting a specific industry. That is a gross dereliction and a violation of the pledge. And that should not be accepted.
All I'm pointing out is there has to be a variation on this. I don't disagree with you. I mean, you and I know this. The gal I worked with up there was probably the least offensive of everybody. But Michelle Fiore, if you want to take the position that any tax increase or fee increase is going to mean you're going to take her out of office, you just got rid of Michelle Fiore, who voted for less than anybody else up there. And there's some other good people up there that we can't have a rock hard, solid 100%. We need to look at this.
I just wish that Michelle was here because I have a certain tax pledge here where she told me to stick it, and so that's okay. Now we're going to wrap this up by first giving both of these candidates a round of applause for being here tonight and for joining us.
Obviously, we found out we've got two new candidates, Chuck Booth and Dan Burdish, following the race. All right, we're going to have them wrap it up with a closing statement in just a moment. I want to tell you something. Now that we've got everybody coming out for the first Friday, let me just say something real quickly. That Grover Norquist's name was brought up a few moments ago. Our next First Friday, because first Friday of July happens to be on the 4th of July weekend, we are going to have it on the second Friday, which is July 12th. July 12th. And our special guest will be Grover Norquist. We've got some other special surprises, by the way, that night also. But Grover, we're going to announce, and it's on the second Friday on July 12th. All right? And by the way, my invitation stands open. I plan to get both these candidates on my show in the morning to be able to debate on my morning radio show at News Talk 720 KDWN. For a closing statement, let's keep it at 2 minutes each, and let's start out with Dave McKeon.
Thank you, Alan. I accept the offer, and I appreciate it. Just let me know when. Thank you all for being here tonight. You know this lady right here, Gay? She's from my hometown, and she's like a second mom to me back in my hometown, so thanks for being here. My other mom is Kelly Katavix right over there. See that lady waving her hand? She's actually the reason why I'm running. I was doing voter registration at the Asian Festival, and she came up to me wearing a cowboy hat, and I said, Felly? She said, Dave? And we got to talking. So, Felly, if people don't like me, it's your fault. So, thank you for being great. I am running for chairman of the Clark County Republican Party because I understand the value in getting unified, organized to raise funds to win elections. I have a plan put together that you can all go online, read it, give me your feedback. I appreciate feedback because it's a collective program. It's how we work together. If you go to DaveForNevada.com and click on Dave's plan for the CCRP, you'll see it. It's real simple. It's only about 3 pages. July 17th, if you elect me to be your chairman, on the very next day, I will start reaching out to all the different chairmen in the different counties, reach out to all the different clubs, and start energizing the base to put that plan into effect. I need your vote. I want your vote. Carl's is still on the 17th? The event, the 17th? All right. July 17th. All right, it's confirmed. Okay, July 17th. You can make your vacation plans now. Vote for me, Dave for Nevada. Thank you for being here.
I want to thank Chuck Muth, our gracious Grand Inquisitor, and Dan Burdish, and Alan Stock, and Dave, I would like to thank you too. Thank you for a good campaign, and thank you for everything that you've been doing the past 2 or 3 months. And I want to thank everybody here for everything they've been doing for the past several years, as I have and will continue to do. I don't quit. I don't walk away. I listened to your interview on veterans in politics, and I encourage everybody to look and listen to Dave's interview on veterans in politics. The way to unify the party is not to use a sledgehammer on people. You'll know what that means when you listen to the interview. I was quite shocked when I heard that, and I think you will be too. You guys who don't support me, I encourage you to please call me, get to know me. I've reached out to a lot of you women, and I would like to go have a glass of wine with you some evening. Any one of you. I'm here, I'm doing the job, I've been doing the job. I was secretary before I was chairman. I've been doing this for 6 years. I was a national delegate. I've been active in the Clark County Republican Party. Yes, a Republican. I supported a Republican. Everybody on the planet knows the Republican I supported. Everybody knows the Republican candidate I supported for president.
Last election.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for being so gracious. I look forward to getting to know all of you who I don't know already. And I hope you will take the opportunity to call me and stop in the office. And I appreciate your being here, and I appreciate your vote on July 17th. Thank you so much.
Once again, let's have a hand for Cindy Lake and David Key, please. Both of them. Thank you.